Now let's talk about the security of your vote. At the midterms, WUSA 9 learned that Maryland's voting system was using computer servers tied to a shady Russian billionaire. But now that's changing, and Mike Valerio gets us up to speed.
It was a disturbing development undetected for years. A Russian billionaire close to Vladimir Putin buys a local tech company, and that company runs Maryland's voter database.
I see us at a new version of the Cold War, absolutely.
Marine Corps Captain Robert Johnston is an expert on Russian cyber warfare, and he puts the risk into perspective. A Russian oligarch with an ownership stake in Maryland's sensitive voter database could lead to more election meddling.
The reason is a concern is because it can be weaponized later on down the line.
Maryland now agrees. The state tells us it will cut all ties with the company, controlled by billionaire Vladimir Putin, meaning the servers with your voter information will no longer be tied to Russia. The concern was so great that Homeland Security investigated Maryland's election systems and thankfully found no evidence of meddling. DHS released this heavily redacted report, but we do know security teams found no threats, no one deleting or altering voter names. Even so, the state is taking no chances and moving on, all in an effort to defend the vote still under threat.
And right now, there's no requirement for foreign investors to report when they buy part of our election infrastructure, something that we first exposed in the fall. Both of Maryland's senators want to change that, and they have legislation that is now making its way through the Senate. Leslie?